Hello everyone, and welcome back to the second video on how to make the basic tea bag folds. So as I said, the first two videos in the playlist will be making the two most simple tea bags. So I've already shown you this one, and I said that in the second video I'll show you how to do the background as well. So I'm going to show you how I did that this time. And this one had square tea bag folds, and this was using the geranium papers by Nitwit, and this time we've gone a little bit brighter, a little bit more psychedelic with the Lovin Life papers by Nitwit again. And you can see this time we're going for the basic triangle one to make that 3D rosette. So grab some papers, grab some cardstock, and we'll have a go at making the second one. So to start with, let's make our card blank. So this could be any size you want, but for my card, I'm just going to make a 5x7 card blank. So I've chosen some papers or some cardstock, which is going to match my Lovin Life papers. Tying in that blue there. So I'm going to cut it at 10 by 7. And then bring in my scoreboard and score it at 5. And then just fold it. And using my Teflon tool. There we go. So there's my 5x7 card blank. And I've already printed out a backing paper from the Lovin Life kit, which I'm just going to ink the edges. Now if I wanted to, just to tie it all in, I can take my black soot around the outside of my card blank too, and that'll just tie everything together. And it'll make it look like I've matted and layered a little bit more. It's a nice little cheat there. So let's glue it on ready. So our card blank, our card base will be ready for us once our rosette is ready. Okay. This is already looking nice and bright and colourful. I've got to say, this Lovin Life kit is really nice. So for this one, I used one of the backing papers and used two of the borders either side. So if you're looking for this in the kit, you won't actually find it because I created it myself. So let's have a zoom in. So it's a border, flipped around and put down the other side again. So that's my card base. Let's put it aside. So then I need my 8 pieces, or my 8 borders. Now these are just some squares. I have chosen one of the papers which has got a border all the way around, and each one of them is slightly different, so I've got to be really extra careful when I come to fold later that I have them all the correct way. Although I think with this, because it all ties in so nicely, you wouldn't really notice, but it'll just be me going a bit OCD there. So my papers this time are 2 3/4 inches square. And like I said, this is just one of the backing papers from the Lovin Life kit. Just printed off as they were, just shrunk them down, then copied and pasted so they're all identical sizes. Equally, you could use any papers you wanted. You could use your square dies as well. So if you don't want to fussy cut them, if you're not confident with your scissors, die cut squares would be perfect. And what I would suggest then is, rather than choose a paper which has got all these patterns which are the same on each one, just choose a backing paper which has absolutely no repeating pattern, nothing you're going to follow, just sort of a random sheet of floral paper. That would work excellent then, because you're not trying to make it match. So let's get going with the fold. As you can see, this paper, although it looks like it's the same pattern all around, we do have this little red one here, which doesn't appear in any of the corners. So I'm using that as my little guide. If you're using a random one, it'll be far easier. You don't have to worry about that at all. But the idea with the tea bags is to try and do every piece the same. So that is my go-to one today. So I'm going to turn it white face up. So this is the wrong side. So we've got double-sided paper. This will be the wrong side. I've got single, so it's just my white side. And I'm just going to fold them in half to form a triangle. So we're doing the diagonal folds. Then I'm taking my Teflon tool from the Cool Cats and making that crease nice and sharp. And we're going to open it up. And we're going to do the same the other way. And open it up. So that red flower, I'm going to keep up in my top left. Doesn't matter where you put it, just as long as you do it the same every time. And I'm going to bring the bottom edge up to meet the top edge. Corner to corner, so we're trying to be as precise as we can with nice crisp folds. And then we're going to open it up. Just like we did in the first tea bag fold video, we're going to take our index fingers and pop it up in the middle. And it'll just naturally pop, and you'll feel that these two sides will want to go in. So fold it in, and then we're just going to make it nice and crisp again. And that's my fold. So again, I'm using that little red one down here. That's my little guide. So let's do it again. So we're going to do it pretty quick this time. So as soon as you've done it once or twice, you'll be able to pick up the speed, and these rosettes will come together pretty quick. Your first one, take your time. As soon as you've got the hang of it, you'll be able to knock these out in no time. Again, so 2 triangles. So white facing up, turn it over, the red one in the top left hand corner, and bring that bottom edge to edge. Flip it over and pop it up. And again, just burnish it down. One more time. Don't worry, I have done some ahead of time, so you're not going to make you watch me do it 8 times. So again, nice crisp folds. Red top left. Bring them together. Pop it up, and it will naturally make that triangle. And the red bottom left. So let's zoom out a little bit now. And as I said, I've already done a few of them ready for us as well. 2, 3, 4. I thought there was one missing. There we go. So I'm just going to lay them out now so that they're all the same orientation. With that red flower, you can see they're all identical now because I made sure that red flower was my little guide. So there's no red flower there, so I know it's wrong. There we are. Red flower, red flower. I'm just going to grab some glue now. I'm going to grab my first piece. Now, again, just like the first fold, what we're going to do, you'll see that this opens up here. We're going to be tucking these ones inside as so. And depending which way you put them will depend how your pattern looks. So if you put the right hand side on top, you'll have that blue flower showing, whereas if you tuck it behind, these are what's going to show. So I'm going to go on top this time. Let me make sure these red ones are there in the right place. Good. Lift it up. Now, if you were using a random pattern, this wouldn't be an issue at all. Now, I'm putting the glue down inside that triangle, down towards that pointed edge, not up here, because this is where they're actually going to meet. So I'm going to bring it in, line up the 2 points of my triangle, and this folded edge tucks right into that crease line there. So let's get it right in and stuck. So remember now my red flower is off to my left. So I'm going to open up the next one now. A little bit of the glue. Red flower off to my left. Red flower tucked behind, off to my left. Now you might start panicking at this point because you're starting to create a little gap or hole in the middle. Don't worry, that's perfectly normal. Bit of glue. Okay, so now we're starting to bring our points together, so try and keep that nice and neat as well. Bit more glue. And tuck it in, you can see we're almost all the way around. Got this one. And now our rosette looks finished, but we still got one more to go. So this time we're going to bring this up. I'm going to put our glue in. And the one we've just put in, we're going to open it up, put our glue, and bring that first one in. And there we have our rosette. Just tease them all around. All finished and complete. So you can take your burnished tool if you want it flat. If you want it even flatter, you can actually put glue into all these gaps and make it nice and flat, or you can keep the dimension as it is. So let's just bring in our card blank. We can just put this now on top, but we sort of start to lose the rosette now. In the first one I did, we had that nice white background, so it didn't matter so much. But on this one, because we've got such a busy background, I said I would show you how to make it stand out. So if you remember, our rosette squares, our teabag squares, started off being 2 3/4 wide. But because of the folds, it will grow a tiny, tiny bit. But it's still under 3 inches with me. So I'm going to cut 3-inch squares. In fact, I'm going to have a bit of a thicker board. So I'm going to go 3 1/8, I think. 3 1/8. And again, 3 1/8 square. And again, I want another one. So another 3 1/8. So I've got 2 squares, which were just slightly bigger than the teabag squares I started with at the beginning. So if you started with 4-inch squares for your tea bag papers, you'd go 4 1/4 or something. So I'm just going to take some glue around the inside, nowhere near my points, just around the middle. So if you imagine this square is there, so you don't go anywhere near the points. And I'm just going to line up my rosette onto my square. So I'm ignoring my northeast, southwest points, so to speak, and just focusing on that inner square there. And this time, I'm going to put my glue where that square, if you look behind, is. And this time, I'm going to put it in that diamond orientation. And I'm going to place it on top. Now, I've seen some people trace around their rosette and then do a line around. But I think this way is a much easier way to do it. And now I've got a nice flat bit. I mean, I could put foam tape on this, but I think we've got enough dimension with the rosette as it is. So let's just place it onto our card. And you can see now, we've just got that little blue border, which makes it stand out. So if you wanted, you could have put a brad in the middle, but in this kit, we've got these really nice floral cameras. So I've got one of them. I've just shrunk down and fussy cut out. Just grabbing a little foam pad just to hide that gap. Put a little jaunty angle. And then it's just a case if you wanted to add a sentiment, we could add one of those. You could do a larger sentiment. I think I printed out a couple. Yeah, love this life. Let's go for that one because they're still tiny in all that blue. Let's do the left here. Why don't we go for both? Where should we put it? Sticking out the bottom here. I know I shouldn't go over that, but if I thought about it, I should put it off to the right. And another one. There. So there we go. That is now our second basic tea bag fold. A nice simple triangle just going around. So again, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up just by clicking down below. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified then when I've got my next video up, which could be another tea bag one, who knows. And if you've enjoyed it enough to have a go at making this basic tea bag fold, I'd love to see your version. And to show me, you need just head over to Facebook and join the Facebook group Paper Crafting with Paul. There'll be a link in the description below. So if you just open up the description, you'll find it there. And you can just post up your version. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.